Hey everyone, on this episode of Dad Sews, we're going to learn how to use this little contraption to make our own bias tape.
Dad Sews! Dad Sews! Dad Sews! Dad Sews! Dad Sews! Dad Sews! This is how it goes with Dad Sews!
Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for another episode of Dad Sews. I really appreciate how you keep coming back to dadsews.com and youtube.com/dadsews to view all of our tutorials and fail videos. Of course, you love the fail videos. Now this week we're making bias tape with this little contraption here. I'm going to put a link below where you can get this on Amazon nice and cheap. Prime shipping, guys, you got to get in on that. Now, I originally saw this tutorial on Dana Made It. Now, she makes wonderful things. She's the one that inspired me to make leggings with my sewing machine and with my serger, and she makes it all look so simple. And it's not. I have failed horribly trying to follow her tutorials. But this one seemed simple, and I wanted to try to see if I could do it and make it look as easy as Dana did. Now, I will also link that tutorial below because you should check out different ones, see which ones fit your needs. But thank you for watching it on Dad Sews. Now, this is cut to the size of a fat quarter because fat quarters are easy and cheap to get. Walmart has them super cheap. Now, why do you need bias tape? Well, it's that little cute edging that goes around all those cute baby ideas and patterns and baprons like I'm going to be making next week on Dad Sews, but all those little extras that you like. They even make ties for the back of bathing suits. And bias tape is cut on the bias because fabric stretches. Hear that? No, you don't hear it because it's stretching. But if I try to stretch it this way, you can hear it snapping. Fabric doesn't stretch from selvage side to the other side or top to bottom, but on the bias, on the angle, it stretches a little. And that allows your bias tape to stretch when you're tying it and fitting it around necks and leg holes and such. All right, now this, like I said, is cut to the size of a fat quarter. We're just going to take one corner and we're going to turn it up to make a triangle. All right, now that leaves you with a little bit of excess, so we're just going to take our trusty Fisker ruler and rotary cutter here, and we're going to cut that, and we will save this for a future project. You don't throw away your scrap, right? That would be crazy and wasteful. All right, if you got good kids like mine, they'll pick it up off the floor for you. All right, now that you have your triangle, you are also going to cut it along the fold. Now, you can cut it with your shears. These will do a great job, but I'm going to cut them with my rotary tool, and I'm going to cut it very close on the fold, and that way I get a nice straight cut, because I am not great with my shears. My shears are awesome. I'm not awesome. All right, so I'm going to take my rotary cutter, make sure I'm really close here on this fold. All right, and we'll slide it down just this little bit. Now, I know many of you are good with the shears, and you could do it that way, but that is very little waste. All right, now we have two perfectly awesome triangles. Now we're just going to fold it up like this, and then we're going to turn it so that the folded edge is down, and our bias cut is right here on our straight edge. All right, next step. Now, we're going to take our ruler, and every 2 inches, we're going to make a cut. All right, now what this does is give us a 2-inch piece of fabric that eventually we're going to make 1/2 inch bias tape. Now, you can make inch bias tape that's folded once, or 1/2 inch bias tape that's folded twice, and honestly, that's what you're going to use most of the time. So, we're going to make that cut. And we'll go another 2 inches here. Now the bias tape contraption I have makes 1-inch bias tape, but that's what you need to make double folded 1/2 inch bias tape. You will understand when we get done. All right, Now we just make another 2-inch cut. And this is why I love this Fisker mat, because it's got great measurements. You can eyeball it there. You don't have to eyeball it on the ruler, but I do like my see-through ruler. It's kind of great. Now, if you do a perfect job with a fat quarter, I believe you're supposed to get 4.5 yards of bias tape out of it. We will see. I'm not sure I've cut it perfectly, but we'll see what we get. All right, one more cut, and then we're just going to toss this excess right here on the floor to use later. All right, so there we have 4 cuts, which give us 8 pieces of fabric. Okay, now you have your 8 pieces of perfectly cut fabric. If you were to sew them together right now, what you would have is the beginnings of, well, a picture frame. That's not what we want. So we want to flip the pieces over the other way, and then we're going to crisscross them and have the triangle edges overlap just a little like this. Now we're going to sew them together, and when we cut off our extra thread, we're just going to trim off these little triangles. Now I'm not going to put my 2 long pieces together. I'm going to go ahead and pick a shorter piece to go with my long piece, and that way it'll not have the seams in the exact same place. It'll stagger them out so it won't look like 2 long pieces, 2 shorter pieces, 2 much shorter pieces. All right, once you've got them put together the way you want them, let's move ahead to the sewing machine. All right, a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and that is easy. All right, once you pop this off, remember to trim off those little triangles when you trim your excess thread. All right, and then voila, look at that. We have a perfectly nice piece of fabric. I'm going to go ahead and sew all of these together, and I'm going to show you how we make our bias tape. Okay, well, I went ahead and finished about half of my bias tape. You can see it fully sewn together here, and you'll see that it stretches because we cut it on the bias. All right, there's an errant string there. Now, if you get confused when you keep piecing together your bias tape, just lay it like it's going to look and then fold it, and that's where you know how to sew. It's super easy. I got confused and sewed the wrong pieces together on one part. I just cut it out, cut at the angle, cut out the whole seam, threw it in the trash, and then I just laid it the way it was supposed to and then folded it over. It's perfect. You'll get the hang of it the more you make. All right, now that we have our fabric, we are going to take our bias tape mechanism here, and we're just going to feed the fabric through it. All right, now I have never used this before, just like all my videos on Dad Sews. This is the first time I'm doing it. All right, once you feed it in, and if you have any trouble, you can use a seam ripper right here to push it through, but you pull it together. Oh, there we go. Now, I did it upside down. So let's pull it out and put it in right side down. All right. Now we're feeding it in here, and we just pull, and oh, look at that. We have bias tape. So simple. All right, now we take our iron, and I'm going to go ahead and lay. Now, you're going to see the fanciest iron board you have ever seen. Yes, it's an Amazon box. Whoa, don't get my address. All right, this is my fancy ironing board here. All right, we go really high tech here at Dad Sews. We're just going to press this as we pull the bias tape maker. All right, very, very, very cool. Or hot. Iron puns. All right, now you're just going to do this for the rest of your bias tape. Super, super easy. I'm going to do this really quickly and try not to burn the place down with this piece of cardboard, and I'll be right back to show you how we make 1/2 inch bias tape. Okay, so you've pulled your fabric all the way through your bias tape maker, and now to make it 1/2 inch double folded bias tape, well, guys, I think you should be able to figure this step out. You just fold it over again. That's right, you fold it over again, and then you press the entire thing. Now, if you got everything you could out of your fat quarter, then you have 4.5 yards to press. So I've got some more pressing to do. I just want to say thank you for watching this tutorial. We're going to be using our double folded 1/2" bias tape on our next project, which is a bapron. What's a bapron? Well, it's an apron for babies, because let's face it, baby bibs, they don't cut it. Babies yank them right off. A bapron ties around the top and ties around the waist, and that's what you need to keep that baby clean. Thank you for watching our videos. Check us out on Twitter at DadSews, and we are on youtube.com/DadSews. Don't forget, sew, fail, repeat. Now I'm going to finish my bias tape and wrap it around the rest of my cardboard from my Amazon purchase. That's right, at Dad Sews we use all of the buffalo. Thank you, Mother Buffalo. We'll see you next time.
This production is brought to you by the Plaid Dad Blog Podcast Network. For more information, visit plaiddadblog.com.